how we actually can have the way to relate seemingly two different systems and make it a working whole, a working model for us to transform. And this is a lecture. We have a short exercise at the end. And I cannot go into details to the astrological data and information, so we will not have it from here. Because otherwise it would be not 1.5 hours, it would be more than 3 hours. But I will offer you the principles for you to understand how you can align with this astrological model, relate that model with eroticism and the tantric understanding, and you can use that model as a gate to high states of consciousness through eroticism, tantric eroticism. So, if you have some questions, I mean, just ask. You can have trying to have direct dialogue with these questions if they come. So, first of all, we need to know what is astrology, how it has been developed through ages, because it's a really old system, and it can be found in many traditions. But the main thing in all the traditions, in all the ages, is knowledge. Because how you learn to know about oneself or about some events, and how you can depict the universe and reflect that information accordingly, that you can follow a path, follow something to discover something more. Nowadays, astrology is simply in that is mainstream. It's just this horoscope thinking. You know, you will meet this person, you will have like this, you will have. But actually, that's kind of, you have Ferrari. You sit in the car, nice car, you find the radio. That's entertainment. You're sitting in a really nice car and entertaining yourself with the radio, but you're not going anywhere. So to have a profound understanding about astrology, we need to understand that actually it's a system, it's a tool for us for self-development, a tool for self-transformation. So if we put this understanding, this model to astrology, it becomes a really efficient tool. Otherwise, it doesn't offer us the reason why we should use it, because otherwise you can have the same entertainment watching TV. This is what people usually do today. So we need to learn to somehow to have that knowledge which is offered through astrology and make it somehow part of our life. Because otherwise, if we just follow this kind of astrological thinking with the mind, it remains kind of a fairy tale about in our mind, and we somehow relate to that as an annex of our life. Somehow it is not our life. It's like we just mirror something and we aim to see from that what is happening here. Because this is the way how people usually think. It's like they have two kind of thoughts about it. They believe in astrology or don't believe in astrology. And those who believe in astrology remain passive in front of it. They remain somehow like they predict us the future, what to follow, and they don't really understand that you are the one who are creating this experience. You are the responsible of that experience, but through understanding deeperly the astrological system, it's a reflection, a feedback mechanism of your decisions, of what you do with your life. Not that you are a passive being who is following blindly destiny, it's written in the stars, and you cannot do anything about that. So this is why we have to change the attitude, not to understand astrology as a simple system of following certain advices, rules, what is coming from above, but a mirror or a tool for really transform. This is really good when we do it in our own personal life, also in couple relationships. This way we can really understand that when we can have a recognition of the other one, which is beyond the egoic structure, which astrology can help us to reveal, we can actually start to transform together very fast. But I will go to this more later, but this just as an introduction. So the astrology, how it is understood, has to be governed by certain principles or laws. any system which has a certain function need to be, there have to be certain laws or principles which that system is based on. Otherwise, it's superstition. And this superstition attitude have many people nowadays about everything, about spirituality, about astrology, about everything, because they don't want to understand deeply, because they want to remain in a kind of an, I would say, emotional, spiritual realm, to have an emotional relation, and this way they can kind of live in a kind of a fancy realm of half-truths and half-truths and a kind of fantasy, which is actually not helping them too much. So we need to understand deeply what it means, how a certain model or system operates, for us to have a use for it. Those who are more in the engineering part and know about how certain devices works, you understand the principle. You want to learn to operate with a certain tool, you need to know how it works. The same is here. But the principles and tools are not the same as you know how the instruments and tools work in a certain form or a certain device. These are instruments and tools which are in the consciousness. We need to learn to see how these principles are actually alive in us, to see how it works outside. So it's like a turn towards in yourself to see who you are deeply, and then reflect that who you are deeply outside. Otherwise, it doesn't make the needed connection for you to have an input for transformation. And one really important law or principle is the law of correspondence, the law of analogy, which is actually really quite simple. That what it is saying in the Hermetic text, that what is above is below. Or that what is inside of me is outside of me. That what is not inside of me will not either be outside of me. And this is a direct feedback mechanism of the universe, and we have to understand that everything we experience is actually a part of this feedback loop. So, is the feedback loop in two directions. First of all, is the feedback loop that what the universe, the outside reality, offers us to see. But also the other way around, how we influence the universe. So we can see our transformations, our process outside the world. And also the world is showing us like where we are. We have to have these both sides here, because otherwise we don't take total responsibility of our life. Like an astrologer, I am totally against this kind of predictive astrological systems, who is just taking away the free will and just putting their fancy tale to follow. Because that's not the purpose of astrology, that's not the purpose of any authentic spiritual path. So, understanding this deeper, you have to see actually that how you are inside will be reflected outside all the time. And if you want to know where you are, you just look outside. So it's a really simple mechanism. Also one model and principle related to this is the holographic model, which is a really deeper perspective upon this law of correspondence. But when you understand that everything which is in me is reflecting the whole, there is no separation. We don't need to search for truths outside of us, we need to discover how we are tuned with that truth. And this holographic model is really, not to go too much to physics, but David Bohm has a really genuine revelation about this, about the explicate and implicate order. Those who are more interested, I'm suggesting to you to David Bohm. I think he got also an Nobel Prize. And it's really simple how we can put it like from the astrological point of view. Everything that is here in me now are in a two kind of phases. They are explicit, already perceived, lived, experienced, or implicit as a potential state. When you understand this, there's nothing that comes from outside. There's nothing that is an outsider force which is pushing you. It's you, and how you want to see it, how you want to explore that beauty of your inner universe, it's up to you. What you want to reveal there. Many people, when they have about astrology and they come to a consultation, they just want to know that what is happening to me in my already known world, what's its only known universe of mine. And if I put a little bit a hint to something which is beyond that, no. That's too much. I just want to hear what is inside of my ring of comfort, of the comfort zone. What I already know, but to give a reason for me to do that what I already doing, not leading anywhere. But if you see that actually everything is there, you can find an interesting path, a discovery towards something which is much more than you think, much more what you thought you were in the beginning. You will discover that there is a natural beauty in you, just wait to be revealed. And why this is related to astrology? Because in astrology we can depict a planet, for example, or a certain aspect in so many ways. We can think it like an obstacle or something which is hindering us, the so-called the great evil Saturn coming, making a transit, and now run or escape. Or we can see that actually that Saturn is in us. It's not something which is opposing us that make us we have to escape or fight against. No, it's a process in us, a principle of us, which we need to learn to adapt and become aware of so we can use it consciously. Then it becomes a really powerful tool, because Saturn, if you want to put what Saturn is doing for us, he makes us do the choice. Choice of suffering or the choice of happiness. It's the choice what he offers. And if we don't see this, because we think that comes from outside, we cannot transform. We need to see it's us. And this is really important to learn to do it. And here comes actually one other important law, or say it's the occult law of resonance, which actually is the key principle of all the things. All what we can perceive in this universe and all the other universes are inside this resonance law. And to make it simple, what we are now is a resonance. What we will be in the future is a resonance. What is the separation is the resonance. We don't resonate that what we are. So understanding this resonance principle, we can actually start to resonate with a lot of things. And starting to discover that actually everything is in us, and we need to just to choose to tune in the certain level of frequency and become aligned with that, and gradually it will become a reality for us. And also one other really important thing about astrology is how it operates through cycles and times, and through cycles and also time cycle, duration. Everything in astrology actually can be seen as a process which has three phases: a beginning, a maintenance, and also an ending process. And these are like a rotation. We see how it operates all the time. We have to see where we are in that process to learn to put ourselves in that big spiral of time and use that process to transform. Usually it's something which we need to, it's not easy to in one lecture like this, but it's not deep to understand deeply the mechanism of cycles, how it works. For example, everyone knows about the diurnal cycle of day and night. This is the basic cycle when the sun rises, sets in the night. This cycle is so close to us, even if we try to avoid it in the city, because now we have lights of the city lights, which helps us to live in the night. But in the past, it was so dark that we needed to go to sleep or have torches. But anyway, so it was not so handy. But this is a cycle that has been studied. It influences a lot, from the small microorganisms to bigger animals, and it has been studied a lot about these cycles. But this is just a simple cycle. And then we have different kind of cycles: cycles of the year, cycles of the moon, around the earth, cycles of planets around, and so on and so on. And I don't want to go too much into the scientific studies, but they have been discovering actually that these cycles have a really important part for us, also for animals, because they are tuned in these cycles, even though they don't see it with their senses. So this is an important aspect to understand from astrology, to really open ourselves to understand the cycles, because with these cycles you can have an access to a reality which is beyond our senses. And the last principle, which is really important in astrology, but not the least, is the law of polarity. Everything has a polar nature. Everything can be seen as two complementary parts uniting the one whole. When you understand this polarity principle, you will see how everything works in a really genuine way, like everything is clear, stable, and you will see how you can actually influence by adjusting the polarity principle in different moments in a way that you can use everything as a way for you to transform. But anyway, these principles, laws are really vast topics. So I just wanted to offer you knowledge about how you can see more clearly about the astrological system or any kind of system which are based on reading the hidden side of the life. Because otherwise this system remains like unconscious magic. Unconscious, and some people have the sensitivity to feel, and that's good for them. But still, if they have sensitivity to feel but not an understanding, they can easily make mistakes, because we all are humans. And of course, the man who have the understanding and knowledge can also make mistakes. But still, what I mean, like to have more clarity and awareness in a process, you have more access to its mechanisms. So astrology has certain tools to start with. And one of the most important tools for astrology are the 12 zodiacal signs. These are the 12 archetypal representations of the one and the same reality. Let's put like this kind of an analogy. Newton was the first one who discovered that when you put a light beam through a prism, it generates colors, different colors, the colors of the rainbows. So with this you can see the same one light through a form, a geometric form, generates different frequencies. The nature of those frequencies are the same, the light, but how it is perceived, the quality of them are different. So this is an analogy to see that these 12 zodiacal signs are the emanations of the same light, and they are divided through this prism towards 4 fundamental categories of the subtle elements, which are, as many of you know, subtle earth, subtle water, subtle fire, subtle air. And these 4 models are in a process of movement, which means they have a beginning, they have a maintenance, and they have an end. 3 times 4 is 12. Here you have a model how consciousness is perceived through 12 different facets. There are 12 different perspectives, but still they are the emanation of the same light. We can become limited by this quality. We can start to give reasons for us not to see the light because we are here limited by this color. But still this color gives us an understanding on what phase we are in this process. Because, as I told you, everything are cycles, everything are rhythms. So we are part of a certain process in a certain phase. As if you look like our sign is a certain sign, which means we are born in a certain season, which means we have a certain qualities inside of us, and then we have the certain way to relate to the outside reality and also towards us. This is what we need to know to understand deeply how this system can help us to transform. Not that we are limited by that quality, but we can actually discover that that quality for us is a really natural way to go beyond all the qualities and reach this so-called undifferentiated light, the supreme light. And how we can relate to this highest form of qualities, or this supreme light, is to understand that these 12 phases of the same reality are actually archetypal representations of certain hidden qualities which we have as living souls. There are different systems of finding out these qualities. One, for example, is the archetypes of the soul, which maybe some of you know. I think you have had a workshop here in Denmark about it. One is the Enneagram system, and so on and so on. But the same with astrological system, you can find certain qualities, certain virtues, which is inherent in a being who is living in a certain, under the sign of a certain energy, zodiacal sign. And this way we can actually see what are the, what in us are like accessible for us to transform. This is a little bit complicated because we are not only one zodiacal sign. We are not only that. We are not only the personification of one stream of energy. Our sun might be in one, which is really important for us because sun is the center of individualization. We reflect our individuality through the position of the sun. But then we have the moon, which actually is a reflection of the unconsciousness, which is lending another kind of zodiacal energy. And then we have planets which are different. So we need to have a kind of a synthesized realization of all the energies in a way that we can enter into resonance with that. Think like an analogy. We need to learn to play a guitar in a symphony, but still be part of a symphony, to understand that how we are tuning ourselves. We are not tuning only like one being, but we have another kinds of qualities which are us. Some of these qualities are not in our conscious access. We don't have the access to these qualities. That's why we think they are outside of us. That's why many people who search for an astrologer think that they need to have someone to help because they are submitted to follow certain outside energy. But no, if we can enter and understand that these qualities are part of the same light, it is us, we can actually discover much more, to reveal much more for us in what is hidden in us, and so start to consciously approach the divine destiny or the divine source of our life. And why this is important also in couple relationships, because when we have a deeper understanding of our astral structure, which is actually the astronomical structure offering us, and under deeper understanding of the energies, how we relate with our mind and with the reality around of us, we can start to see that actually those people who are close to us, they have a certain place in that universe. They have a certain kind of a position in our inner universe which we can see and perceive. And this is called synastria in Latin, which means the same star. The stars who are the same or are conjunct with each other. So how we relate to other people, they are also part of the same. So it's like a merging of true inner universes in a way that makes them fit perfectly. I say a perfect fit can be also a perfect enemy, because that's perfect for us. Because there's a certain kind of way we relate to each other, and that's why it's a perfect match. But still, that's not the best way of starting it, because it's good to understand why it is like that, because maybe you have seen the movie Godfather. It's a really genuine revelation. Keep your friends close, but your enemies close. If you look deeply at this aspect, it's a really big wisdom there. Because if you keep those people who you don't understand close to you, and you aim to understand them, not through mind, but through this kind of interaction, you will be free from them. You will not anymore be under their this kind of disharmonious way of interaction. You become free because you can somehow observe that we are two complementary energies which are in this aspect creating maybe disharmony, but when we go see beyond that, we can be free from that. Think if this is the case in people who are difficult, think how easy it is for relationship with a harmonized combination. We love each other in a way that we want to be with each other. And this is creating a harmonious way to unite. And when we find the harmony and we understand deeply this mechanism, we can start to transform ourselves together very fast. I have one principle in my business: love first. Because I have seen in my career, so to speak, that people are going too fast to ask, I found this woman, I want to find him, what is connecting us, and then putting mind there. And when they put the mind there before the love is strong enough, they destroy it. That's a pity, and I have seen so many times. So that's I have a rule. You have to be at least 6 months together. Then I can give you a consultation about your couple relationship. Because love is a power which is beyond any kind of rule or mechanism or laws. It's a power which unites us directly with the cause. So we need to learn to love first, and when we start to love, we can actually see how we can manifest that love in a couple relationship much more, much harmoniously, becoming aware of certain things which are seemingly making us smaller or limiting us, and take it like an asset, a power for us to transform. This is the beauty in it. And then when we have this understanding of two people who love each other and can unite with each other, we can also create the so-called composition chart, which means we take the mathematical points of each of the charts and we create a new chart. We create a chart which is combination of the chart A and chart B. Actually, we create a totally new chart. And this is the chart of the relationship. This is the chart what are the mechanisms of a relationship. And then it becomes really powerful. How we two are one. This is the closest interpretation in the dual world about the androgynous state. If it's a polar couple of man and woman. Because this is how we'll see how we together work. What we should become together to become stronger in love. What we should transform together to become stronger in that what we are already. Because the first part is to see how we match. How we can harmonize this polarity and become a strong link between that will transform us. The second part, we are not anymore in that dual perspective, we are becoming one. And if you have this understanding, you can really have can see the life mission of the couple. You can see what is important for you to really transform. You can see what is important phases of life. You can see when it's good to get married. You can see when it's good to have kids. You can see a lot of things there. How we can integrate that to everything. So as you can see, using the understanding, which is not based on only belief and only blind emotional relation with astrology, we can use it really consciously. And of course, to be able to use it consciously and efficiently, we need to have a certain understanding, which requires certain training. So I want to open this to see the possibilities, and maybe if there's an interest, we can speak about the training course and so on later. But now, is there any question about this astrology? I mean, it's clear at least in the theory.
I just have one question. So you put the chart together, just put the chart of the couple into the just when you put all the planets together and then you see how they are. Something like that.
Two ways of doing it. You have a chart of a woman and a chart of a man. And then when you put them together, there are two charts. And there are aspects certain decrease between the planets and so on, which creates the dynamics of that couple. Right, but this composition chart is a chart which takes the data of the chart of the woman and the data of the chart of the man and create a third chart, which is not a combination of them both. So this creates kind of a balance point, which are mathematically done, and you can see where that our energies as a couple unite and create something more powerful. We can speak the egregor of the couple, the guardian angel of the couple, which is sustaining more than just me or the other one. So these are two ways of relating to working with the astrology and the couples. So, to enter a little bit deeper and have another angle with this, we just open the eroticism. What is eroticism and how you can understand why eroticism or erotic life is very important for us. I mean, the etymology word eros means love, desire, or passion. It's a kind of an energy which helps us to live our life. It's an energy which makes us live our life fully. And if we don't have that quality in us, we are sleepwalking. No matter how you want to put it, if you don't have the energy of passion in your life, you are not living. Why? Because the mind is so strong, everyone's mind is so strong. If you don't induce a strong energy in the mind, it just keeps the program. And the program is following how it is programmed. When we add intensity through life, passion, love, desire, suddenly the program starts to shake. It doesn't anymore. You know this, no? When you fall in love, oh my God, you are so conscious and so confident with everything you see, like, I can handle myself. And when you see a woman or a man, you are so shaky, you don't know what to say, you sweat a lot, you say, what should I do here? Because that energy makes you go out from the box. And without that, life has no meaning, really. Life is a really hard. And this is even said by Abhinavagupta, a sage from Kashmir 1,000 years ago, that the person who is not virile, who don't have the life energy, which means virility, eroticism, is already dead. And in Tantra it is even said that if you try to reach enlightenment with boring rituals, it's not possible. You need passion. So this is a quality which all of us have, but we need to learn to use it in a way. It doesn't mean that it means, all right, it's a green card for lovemaking, because it's our understanding of the energy of life. There are certain nuns, the brides of Jesus, who are put in this esoteric manner, who have that life energy, but they give it all to God. They're in a cave, they worship God, and they pray to Him in this way, but with so much passion that there is nothing that stops them to become one with God. And they're really beautiful stories. But I think there were some nuns, women who went into the caves, and then it came a really huge storm. I mean, snow and so on. No one could get, because they were like the nearby monastery were promised to feed them. But there was so much snow that they couldn't enter. And they were, oh my God, they are dying there, because it was a long winter and then finally when they entered there, in the middle of the snow, there was this woman in this, like this. And she was not even understanding it was winter. She was so blissfully united with God. So this is the attitude we should have everything, not only when we make love, but also when we have a spiritual practice, meditations, yoga, everything. Because this helps us to go beyond our limited way of thinking. So to be erotic in this sense is to live life fully. To live the life and take it as it is and live it fully, without inhibitions. Because the inhibitions in this kind of life energy creates a lot of has a lot of troubles in the mind, and we cannot deal with it, and it just creates a loop. We start to create doubts and everything, and then we suddenly feel that we are out from life. So we need to also be careful with that. So in Greek mythology, the god of sensual love and desire, the godly principle that makes all the human beings fall in love, is called Eros. And Eros is a really interesting god in the Greek pantheon, because it has two different phases, two different levels of understanding. In the really old, the earliest source, the cosmogonies and the earliest philosophies referring the mystery religions of the ancient Greek, I think it was 700 to 500 before Christ. God Eros was one of the first gods who sprang from chaos, from the undifferentiated. This was the first impulse to something. So in this form, this creative power, Eros, is the God or the godly principle who makes us create, who makes us one, who makes us become something. This aspect is really important to understand, because then you relate to the universal level of this energy. After a while, this principle was a little bit mixed up, and then a few hundred years after it, he became the son of Aphrodite, the son of the goddess of love and beauty. And in this part of the myths and stories, he was a really trickery guy. He made love with everything, he was like this, and he was cheating with the gods, and he was doing a lot of things. Because in this form aspect, you see, erotic life creates trouble. Not because it's an energy which always makes us go out from our comfort zone. And you see, the two aspects of this erotic energy is actually our way to discover how that energy is inside of us as an individual power, and how that individual power inside of us is a reflection of that universal energy. So when we have an individual desire, an erotic desire, it is related to the universal cause of that desire, which is the Eros, the pure Eros, which was becoming to manifestation, which was the cause of manifestation, and this is actually helping us to become free. In the lower form, it creates bondage. So to have a tantric point of view here, we can see that the lower erotic life, without awareness, without consciousness, without understanding of the mechanism of how you can free that energy from the bondage of form to a higher level, it remains a cause of suffering, a cause of transmission, the cause of process which is going on in the cycle. This is like the basic teachings of Buddha. Desire is suffering. Because his point of view was, when you don't understand the nature of desire, you use desire, it causes suffering. But a little bit afterwards came a great master of Mahasiddha called Tilopa. He added a little more. The desire is not suffering, but the attachment to desire is suffering. So here you can see how we should act with this energy. When we understand that the desire is not our desire, we can tune much higher with the origin of desire, origin of love and passion. It becomes that what we feel when we live fully. We are in the edge, on the verge of manifestation and becoming, and we are free. So, how to do it? How to really connect with this energy of pure eroticism? How to really feel how this energy is within us, but it's still much more than us, and how our erotic attraction, sensuality, and sexual exaltations, states of orgasm, are actually a way us to discover our essential nature. First of all, we need to look upon sexuality and our desires from another perspective. If it's only satisfaction of our instincts, of our sensual hunger, it remains that. So long we think about sexuality as like that, we cannot go beyond it. That's why we need to learn to see eroticism and sexuality sacred. Because when it's a sacred act, a sacrament, we cannot limit it. We cannot make those things there. But it's easy to think like that way. But when we have a strong desire, suddenly we feel we are falling down from there. So gradually we need to learn to adapt higher and higher ways to relate to the energy and open us to feel it more in ourselves. So we have in the name Eros, there comes even the conclusion, the solution for this. It's not only desire for pleasure and sexual experiences, it's also love. So through love, we feel that actually that is something much more. We are opening ourselves with our hearts, with love, to the world, to the experience, and then that energy moves freely. When we open to our erotic experience with attachment and desires, then we make it a really small channel of manifestation. But this is a re-education of our sexual behavior and erotic life, so it's really also a much longer lesson than 1.5 hours. So, but still you have got the point, to have more understanding about our erotic life, how it is related to everything, how we can able to love more and learn to love more and open ourselves more to others, especially those who are dear to us, and unite this erotic energy with that experience. We discover the infinite possibilities of creation, because that's the creative power which we are speaking about. That's the creative impulse towards everything. So we have in our access, we have everything, whatever we can be. That's why we need to learn also from this perspective to be free. We need to be free of our choices. We need to be free of that what we are manifesting are not a reaction of our desires, but it's a pure, free manifestation of our heart. So anyway, this was how eroticism can be seen in a way that is more elevated. So questions about or comments about this? So now we know the two different sides of the coin. Now comes the interesting part, how to unite them. How to find the link between the erotic experience and the astrological model of consciousness. First we need to see that, as I told in the beginning, all the 12 zodiacal signs are different facets, different qualities of the same light. And if you look from this angle, and we unite this myth of Eros, he is the undifferentiated light who had the desire to become many. He's that light who have the desire to experience life. He is that light who, in his immensity, attracts everyone, become one with him. So this is actually the link. We have to see that this divine energy, this light, this pure Eros, is actually the power that makes everything to go forward, to manifest in a way that everything we'll see is a reflection of that creative energy. And then, when it is manifested in a certain quality, we will see, I tend to erotic life and sex in this certain way. I want to be conquered. I want to be taken care of. I want to be have an adventurous sexual life. I want to have this quality. I want to have that. You see, it's the basic astrological love guide. how should I introduce a person who will be born in Capricorn? How should I attract a person who is Pisces? And so on. These are the different modifications of the same quality. But we are limited in this sense about how we want to do it. It's not like we are limited by some really bad thing. No, it's for us a natural way to do it. You cannot, I mean, for example, Scorpio people have much more need for intensity and danger and pushing the limits than, for example, Taurus people who want to have the comfort and pleasure and be like bath in the pleasure, enjoy it, fully. So it's two different ways of relating to the same energy. So you can do it difficultly, in a difficult manner. You study, read all the books about astrology, about erotic life, and you can see us how we are. It's a good to read them, to have the basic knowledge, but not to get stuck with them. But when we have the access to the pure eros, which is beyond, it's the so-called uncreated, the undifferentiated light, we can reflect to that and we will see clearly. It's like you live in a world which is like you have to go to every room to know where we are. Okay, this room is like that, but if we take a position a little bit above, we see all the rooms. All the rooms of our this is like this and this is like that. So we have another angle upon this erotic life, and then we can actually tune into this, and we will learn to feel what the other one really needs. Because there cannot be a problem if we attract with the other people in an individual level. She might seem to be open, but really that openness is a kind of hiding his or her, lack of confidence. He or she pushes a certain way because she's unconfident in herself. So that's not her way of relating harmoniously to her eros or his eros, but it's a malfunction there because of lack of consciousness and awareness. So when you have access to this kind of erotic impulse, which is beyond the qualities, you can see more clearly. You can see what that person really needs and help her or him to transform, because this is the way how all of us want to be. We want to be happy. This is a need in all of us, but this erotic impulse is offering us the joy of life. And when we understand this, we can go beyond all the limitations, starting from that level where we are. For example, we have a lover who is Aries, and we are Gemini. We start from that level to learn to discover the other ones, what she likes, what he likes. We learn to discover the corresponding points about the body, the ways she likes to do it and touch and speak and so on. And we learn this language. But that's the starting point. And then we need to aim to go further. We need to aim to discover the fullness of her being, which is much more than a sign. As I told in the beginning, we are not only one sign. We have also the moon somewhere else, ascendant somewhere else. So it's a complex, vast system of energies. If we want to unravel this with the mind, we cannot do it. It's too complex. We need to find another way of doing it. And this has been understood in the ancient mystery rites. If you look for Greece, there's the so-called cults of Dionysus. They are extremely similar with certain Shaivistic rites in ancient India. They're really similar things. It was the pure eros, the pure energy of ecstasy and love, which was there. And in their worship, they were relating to this most divine archetype of love, the most divine archetype of freedom, and using it in a way to transform. So in our life, we can also see that actually this is can be a spiritual practice for us. This is a part of a Tantric sadhana, but we need to know what it is. If we just put Tantra as a model of exotic model of Indian eroticism, it remains that. But if you add there this deeper understanding about erotic energy and life, and the life energy itself and love, it becomes a really fast modality to discover the ultimate polarity, which is called in Tantra Shiva and Shakti. And this Shiva and Shakti, the ultimate consciousness, the principle of the consciousness, the principle of the energy, becomes united in a way in our love, in our erotic life, where all the levels are united in this blissful union. To do this in a way that it becomes a practical asset for us, we need to understand a really important way to relate to the world, and need to learn how to relate with this attitude consciously. And this attitude, we could say, is called transfiguration. Coming from the word transfigure, seeing beyond the appearances, seeing beyond what seems to be. We need to learn to see more deeply. And I think many of you have, I suppose, if not, you should watch the movie Don Juan de Marco, one of the first movies of Johnny Depp. And it's a brilliant movie about transfiguration, really brilliant movie. Don Juan de Marco. It's Marlon Brando, it's a really nice movie. And how it is really good explained there, because he has this really big power to transfigure. He transfigured everything, he's the greatest lover, and then he went into a mental hospital because everyone thought he's cuckoo, I'm a little bit crazy. And then the doctor was asking from him, do you know where we are? And yes, I know where we are. You are that Silva, the great lover, and we are in your mansion, and la 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 la, create the story, And then he started discussing, why do you think like that? Why do you think that we are in my mansion? Because actually we are in the mental hospital. And then this answer is the best answer. Yes, I know that we are in the mental hospital, and you are a doctor and la la la, and with different qualities, but still I see it like this. Because if I look at this, for example, I adore the woman like this. Doesn't matter the size of the breast, size of the butt, the beauty of it, but if I look from this, I awaken something inside. I awaken something which is sacred inside, because I see through the form. To continue here, he is not denying that he is in a mental hospital. Actually, we are in a mental hospital. So we are not denying that. This is a mental hospital, but still, we see beyond this. We will see something which is beyond it. That's why the transfiguration is not the process of being naive or create a fantasy of some beautiful things. Shiva Shakti, wow. It's a way to perceive beyond what our eyes and senses offer to us. And this is a quality which we need to learn to develop as tantrics. And this quality is really easily awakened when we love. In the moment when we love, we don't see bad things. We just see all the beautiful qualities of the person, which is living representation of godliness. Because we love him or her so much that we don't put anything there which is limiting that love. When we learn to do this, we learn to transform the reality and discover that what is hidden, but at the same time much more alive than what we think is alive. And this kind of attitude we should have also for us. We should be able to see deeply who we are and what we are made of, so to speak, and not to only relate to the mind, relate only what we think we are. And here we have an astrological model, the model of the zodiacal signs. We can start to relate deeper. But remember, as I told in the beginning, if it's remain only a process reflected by the mind, it doesn't help. We need to see deeper. We need to see the qualities that is hidden there. And you will be amazed to see how it is easy to discover much more than what you even thought why it was there when you open your heart. So this is the link. I know it's to find a way to do it. I mean, to express all the qualities of the zodiacal signs. I need more time, so I don't have it. So I want to make a simple exercise, which is done in couples. But before you do it, I will just simply tell you what we do. So, of course, this is an exercise that you can choose to do or not. Choose, not forced to do if you don't want to do it. Just in case, I don't want to have afterwards some bad notes. So,
Finland's the laws are stricter.
So what we start like this. We find a person. He or she can be our lover or not. It doesn't in this moment matter so much. And then we speak for a moment. We speak to the other. Okay, who are you? Ah, yes, my son is in that sign. And if you don't know, everyone knows when you're born. You know where the sun is at least. And and then you start to a little bit learn. I mean, not mentally, but learn to speak. Learn each other, who you are, and this kind of way of relating. More to relate like emotionally than with the mind. And then we close our eyes. We take the hands of the other ones, and we remain centered, really in our heart, deeply in our heart. And then, by the help of the music, we start to tune in the feeling, what arises from the heart. This is very important, because otherwise it doesn't work. You need to be relating to the feeling. If it's difficult to relate to any kind of feeling, you can relate to the feeling of the shirt in your skin. Or if it's really difficult, you take the other hand and you can even do it like this. You have your hand here and the other one here, and you start to feel. But the first phase is to feel your heart. This is the most important, because you start to learn how it feels to be in the heart. What is there? And this is important because this is the prelude for the next stage. If you don't find a connection to your heart, you cannot really enter another level to discover the other one's heart. And this is difficult for many because when you are at the heart, you cannot hide. You cannot pretend. You cannot think something and act something. No, you are who you are. If you are shy, oh my God, you are shy. If you have some inhibitions, you face them because these are there. But I think this is a simple exercise which you can do much more intimate home. Because I will not add too many intimate things to keep it in a soft frame of comfortability. So, but still to understand that this is the beginning. If you cannot do this with your lover, you need to do something like that. Because otherwise, how do you relate to your person who you love? With the mind or what? So it's a really important step. During this exercise, I will also guide with the microphone, so you will see the steps. And then, this is done heart closed, eyes closed, and then you open your eyes. Eyes closed, and be present in your heart, and then you open your eyes and take this feeling, what you have inside of you, and share this feeling to the other one. Not staring like with this competition of staring, but to feel. And when you open your heart to feel the other one, and the other one is going to say, you will start to engage in a reality which is beyond the mind. And of course, loving is helping. If you are able to really love the other one in a really unconditional and free way, opening yourself to the other ones, give everything there, and you will start to feel that you start to interact on a level which is more deeper. And you can start to see certain qualities coming out there. You start to see that this person is manifesting something really special. And this is a good moment now, because at the moment you don't have any knowledge about the zodiac, so the mind doesn't interfere. You start to feel how the other one is. And opening your oneself totally, and when you can do it, you can feel like there's a base, a fundament within you that is based on openness and love. This is that phase, and then the final phase of this exercise is you introduce, to open yourself to the pure eros. And it will be a certain music guide also. You will relate that, and then aim to have this transfigured state that you are witnessing the creation of time. You are witnessing the creation of the reality in that moment, when two of you unite in one singular reality and creates a universe by its own. You see, it's not a mind approach, it's an approach of the heart. And aim to live that as fully as possible. You will discover how this approach will lead you to a state which is much beyond than you ever can think. The only inhibitions is that you put your mind there and you're afraid, you try to do something. There's nothing right, there's nothing that you can do right or nothing that you can do wrong. The only thing that you can do is be open and present and love. So, doing this in a version of clothes on, it's even difficult, but if you can do this, uniting the erotic energy, uniting the sexual life, then it becomes something totally different. Even this kind of practice, without uniting the sexual energy, is a powerful way of opening oneself to the godly reality.